La Gomera, the second smallest but greenest of the Canary Islands, invites outdoor enthusiasts with a nearly endless seeming network of hiking trails. The island is marked with deep ravines and hosts the suspected oldest flower rainforest in the world. Since I arrived here, I was able to learn and experience the rich culture of this amazing island. And now I finally will be able to climb up those deep ravines and experience the landscape. Hey and welcome to today's video. I'm George from the channel Untraveled Roads and I'm on the first adventure here in La Gomera, the second smallest island of the Canaries. I made already my first meters of elevation and distance. I'm on the way to the Mirador Abrante from the town called Agulo, where I'm living at the moment, so it's basically a home game. I started directly from my bed and head up this monstrous cliff. The plan is to go on the highest peaks of this island, discover there a bit on top there's one of the oldest laurel forests in Europe or in the world. We're gonna discover there, have a night somewhere on top and then head tomorrow down. Let's go. The town of Agulo has not only a beautiful view on the sea, with sometimes even the possibility to see until Tenerife, but it's also located in front of a roughly 400 meters high cliff. And climbing up this almost vertical wall is my first obstacle. And now, after looking at this cliff for almost a week, I can't wait to finally climb it. This laurel forest actually has a really nice myth or legend, but I'll tell you more as soon as we're on top. It's getting now quite steep up. The distance is just, I think, 1.6 kilometers till up the Mirador, but it's almost vertical cliffs. There's this little goat path built into the cliffs. So far, I need to say it's really beautiful. And you can feel that spring is starting. You see here, there's the trail. Goes up there and then out there. Whew. Look at this view. And here, somewhere, you see the church here. Left, somewhere from this church, is my Airbnb. Cannot see it, somewhere there. And every day in the front I can see the sea and also here sometimes Tenerife, and on the back side these amazing cliffs. With less talking, more walking. I found some modern art. Sock filled with stones. This is not beautiful. The socks that you saw, they have actually a very dark and sad history. Apparently the folks from this town here, they are hunted by a child with pink socks, a ghost from the old age, and in order to prevent getting attacked by this ghost, they need to put everywhere around this town these pink socks. This stops the little ghost. Very sad story. Just a joke, I made it up. But if you have a better idea, a better ghost story, put a comment down and let's make some scary stories about the meaning of these pink socks. I think I'm on top. I cannot tell you how happy I am to see grass. No joke, I didn't see grass like this since months, the last time in Madeira. It's really nice to see an island that green again. Amazing. Touch it, touch it. Real grass. Beautiful. I think you can tell already, but after 3 months of the typical grey and brown landscape, which you can find almost everywhere in the Canary Islands, I was really excited to see trees and grass. The farther I went, the greener it got, and slowly this island would reveal its green paradise to me. La Gomera is not the greenest of the Canarian Islands because it receives most of the rain. No, the reason for its green landscape has to do with the wind, the trade wind, a wind which eternally blows from the humid north, touches the Canaries and then crosses the Atlantic Ocean towards the Caribbean. The Laurisilvas, the forest on top of La Gomera, catches the moist that the trade wind carries with it. Something that almost acts as a proof for this phenomenon are the mornings on this island, where you can often witness that the mountains at the northern side of the island are covered in fog. But the Laurisilvas that covers the porous volcanic rocks of the island has some more phenomena, which are important and essential for life on this island. But let's speak about this later. I am on my last meters of incline to the Mirador, the viewpoint on top of the cliffs. Back on the actual trail. Should go today around 2,300 meters of elevation. So because of the steep incline in the beginning on the cliff, I have already 500 meters incline done. Easy peasy. Gomera is roughly round with only 22 kilometers in diameter. The highest peak, Alto de Garajonay, has an elevation of 1,487 meters and is located more or less in the center. Looking on the island from top, it looks a bit like an orange that has been cut in half and then split into segments, which have left deep ravines between them. Those ravines are here called barrancos. And the next kilometers before I eventually reach the center of the island, I will be hiking up and down those barrancos. A lot of steep elevation ahead of me. Right now I climb down one of those cliffs. I'm pretty much down at the valley. Now on the other side it goes up again. And down here in the valley it's pretty hot actually. I'm now, how long? I think I'm now already almost 2 weeks in Gomera and stayed roughly 10 more days. I have also another hike planned and 2 other cool projects. But from what I saw so far, I need to say I really fell in love with this island. It's very quiet, very calm. There are a lot of these sleepy towns everywhere. Also Agulo, where I live, is just so cozy. It feels super like home. And even the capital, San Sebastian, it's so cool. It's super amazing. It's very small. I'm very curious about the next island where I go, La Palma. After that, I go back to Tenerife, to Tede, make finally the island crossing. I cannot believe it, but I promise you I will make this island crossing. And afterwards I want to go to El Hierro, but now just enjoy this island. Enjoy this hike. Next weekend another hike and work on some cool projects with really inspiring and really cool people from this island. As always, if you like it, do me a favor, give us a thumbs up, and to see more adventures like this or other adventures, subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. I hope you can see it there in the distance. You see the top of Mount Tede.
It was mornings like these when the breeze whistled through the trees. Fall would hover in the grass would still be wet.
Look at this.
I put on my rain boots.
Wow.
And I'd get dressed and head down to the pond beside the chicken coop. I'd follow her out of the front door, down the path through the brushes and past the pond. My sister and I used to catch frogs there under the household, and we had to move on. Now there's a westbound wind blowing through the ridge again. Staying or go outside.
Ready for lunchtime. I have an energy bar with I think 230 calories. That will be the lunch for today. Yeah, I told you in Gomera, the national park, Garajonay has sort of a legend. There was a prince in Tenerife and he fell in love with a girl here in Gomera, and they do what young people do, they dated. But the parents of this prince, they didn't like that they were dating and hanging out. And also he was always swimming from Tenerife to Gomera to meet her basically. And his name was Jonay and her name was Gara, and this is basically also where the name comes from. The whole thing turned a bit around, and as I say, the parents didn't want that they date, and what he did, he was running away from his parents, from home, went to here, and they left together, or lived together here in this island on top where the mountains are, and had a very short romance, because the parents started chasing them, and as they almost got caught, they were standing on a cliff, and Gara said to Jonay, hey, I love you, and stuff like this, and he said, I love you too. And then they decided to jump because they rather are dead and not together. I don't know if this story is actually true, but apparently because of these names, the national park is called Garajonay. A taxi driver in Tenerife actually told me this story. Let me know if this is really a thing, but I thought it's super nice, this little Romeo and Juliet of the Canary Islands.
After having reached the top of the barranco, the decline directly started, more steep than I expected. This cliff trail brings me back to an elevation of 100 meters. Walking and making speed was pretty difficult on this almost vertical cliff.
And there I'm coming from, all the way down. And the funny thing is, from the window from my house that I showed you before, the village, I see this beach there. Now I need to continue, I think, up this mountain. I think that's how the trail sort of works. For today I have 11 more kilometers. It's I think around 5 now, and sunset is at 6:56. So yeah, I need to see how much I can continue. I expect the cliffs there to be very, very steep.
Even though it took me more time than expected, I eventually made it until down to this village. The next part will lead me back up a very steep cliff. Slowly but surely it got later, and the sunset came closer.
Arrived down in this village. I need to climb another 40-meter elevation down. It's getting pretty late, and I still need to climb up everything. I'm not sure how to do that. Anyways, I go down and then I update you. Ciao, ciao. So the event's getting crazier here. I just lost 45 minutes by searching around. The problem that I have right now is that it's getting too late, so it's getting dark in 1 hour, and I need to go up the cliffs to somewhere make camp, because otherwise I'm in villages. I changed the route now a bit. I follow this street, and I will try to find something to sleep, either like where I can put my hammock, or in worst case I take a hotel. It's a bit annoying because actually it's my fault. I woke up a little bit too late. Actually I woke up, but then I decided to turn around. That was the mistake. Anyways, nevertheless, I'm motivated to continue one way or another. In worst case, see a beautiful rural Spanish house here in La Gomera. Alright, it's final. I will stay here and stay in this town. I actually don't know the name of this town. No idea. But I will stay here. The hotel is there. I'm waiting for the guy. I think in half an hour I can go there. What actually happened was that I would need it now to continue up the cliffs again, or up this valley, and it was around 800 meters of elevation, and my worry was that it gets dark, so I was not sure if I can finish this 800 elevation and climbing up before it gets dark. And along this trail probably I couldn't have made camp. You saw how it went as we went up, as we went down. Just like this, there's no way that I can make camp, so I decided to be on the safer side. Also, I was quite stupid because basically with searching around I didn't really have internet connection, so I wasted 30 to 45 minutes by just trying to search for alternative route or a place to stay. Tomorrow I will wake up very early, finish the rest on the 10 kilometers tomorrow.
Welcome in my little palace, and actually it's really nice because it has actually quite nice balcony, and I guess in the morning you must have an amazing view across this valley. I can't wait to see. Anyhow, I am ready to sleep, but I just realized this, I got some sunburn. Anyways, I will go to sleep now. Have a good night and see you tomorrow morning. Ciao, ciao.
There was a time when I felt safe. It was nestled in your arms.
Good morning. I woke up in time and actually had a really bad night of sleep. Everything was screaming. There was a chicken screaming and the rooster screaming, and then there was some gooses as well.
They were screaming the whole night. Anyways, I will brush my teeth, hit the road, and we continue the hike from yesterday. I quickly have breakfast and fill up the coffee and then hit the road. Prepared with sun cream and despite a bad night with a good mood, I used the boost from the caffeine to start today's first challenge, a roughly 900 meters high cliff. And after starting this trail I was really thankful that I yesterday didn't decide to continue and try to find a camp spot along the cliff. I think it would have been almost impossible to find anything along this cliff. The first part of the cliffs are done. I made 300 meters elevation. It was pretty steep. It was like going up like this. Now I'm continuing basically here on this cliff up and go all the way up, and should be fun. It's beautiful, look at this. As I started I was a little bit tired, but now the heart is running. The view is amazing. It's a bit hot, but that's what we like. Let's do this. So yesterday we were here on top and climbed basically there the cliff down. There down, you see this water thing. That's where I passed by and then entered in this village. I think I'm more or less now on the same height as yesterday, but it goes farther up till the forest. Let's do this. I'm not sure what this means. I think hello and welcome. With a little pain in the legs, a bumping heart and a sweaty body, I reached the top of the cliff. And this means also reaching the national park. Friends, let me present you Garajonay, the national park of La Gomera and one of the oldest, if not the oldest, Laurisilvas in the world. Beautiful. Garajonay, the national park of La Gomera. Not only a beautiful historical forest, but also essential to life on this island. Remember, in the beginning I told you La Gomera is not the greenest of the Canary Islands because of rain, but actually because of the wind and of the fog. The fog condenses on the trees and the water seeps deep into the island, where porous volcanic rocks act as a large sponge and store the water down there. This water keeps the forest green and it's a source for all streams of fresh water in La Gomera, and with that it's the drinking water supply of the island. The moss that you find almost on all trees is like a living witness of this process. Alright kiddos, I am Grandfather George, and I tell you now the story of Garajonay. As I told you in the beginning, the name Garajonay comes from the love story of Gara and Jonay. And while we are hiking through this forest and up to La Gomera's highest peak, let me tell you a bit more about it. Gara was a princess from the town Agulo, which is also the town where I started the hike yesterday. As the legend goes, the unmarried girls of Agulo had to gaze at the reflection in the water. If the water were clear, they would find a husband. If it was cloudy, it meant bad luck. Gara, as she looked, saw her reflection clearly, but she gazed too long, and because of the reflection of the sun, she got stunned and temporarily blinded. An elderly told her she needed to avoid all fire, or otherwise it would consume her. Also Jonay joined the festivities, and the two fell in love. But as the two eventually announced their engagement, the volcano Teide in Tenerife erupted, as it would disapprove the marriage. And because this was seen as a bad omen, the parents of the couple broke their engagement. Jonay was taken back to Tenerife, but one night he swam to La Gomera, where the couple reunited. But soon they were trapped by soldiers from their parents on a mountain, and they two decided to kill themselves. These are the last meters up to the highest point of La Gomera. the highest point in this national park and well, on this whole island. And it might sound like a small step for Lagomerian people, but a big step for untraveled roads. Okay, I'm now on top of Alto de Garajonay, and now I need to decline and go back down. After a few more kilometers in the forest, it became time to start my decline, and I needed to climb down another almost vertical cliff. After almost 2000 meters of elevation, I was already a bit tired, but after seeing this view, I forgot any pain in my leg. But see yourself. I make a short break and then I will head down to actually this village here. Can you see it? Here, this village. Head down there, which should be, I think, 2 kilometers down, but very steep. And I think there I will stop because the plan of completely going to the end here, it's not viable. It's now 6 and yeah, in 1 hour it starts to get dark. I think I definitely can manage to go down in the first village. I arrived in this village and I decided to call it a day simply for the reason that it gets too late. And I think here in this town I can actually get a bus back to San Sebastian. Anyhow, it will not be the last adventure in La Gomera. Next weekend I head for another tour, which is actually bigger and I'm super excited for it. But of course on YouTube it will be published a little bit later. But if you don't want to miss out, you can check out my Instagram, join me there, and you see all the adventures in real time as I go through them. In the meantime, there will be a couple of other cool productions from here, from La Gomera, and I'm super excited to show you and show you more about this amazing island. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give a thumbs up to support me and subscribe to my channel for more adventures. Ciao, ciao.
On time we borrow, time our children